G'day, I'm Shane Adam Bassett, Sky News Australia. Nice to meet you, Lauren.
Nice to meet you too.
Congratulations on a short but very distinguished career so far. I've got to say, Impulse is so underrated.
Oh, thanks. No one has seen Impulse, so this is it's nice to hear someone who maybe has.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it is very good, and I'm not sure why no one's seen it. It needs to be seen.
Thank you for saying that. I really love that show.
Yeah, no, thank you for making it. So I was very excited to talk to you today. I've seen the first four episodes of The Penguin. How did you get handpicked to become a showrunner on this production? Because I mean, the weight of expectations would be pretty high, right?
Yeah, I was called. I had a previous relationship with HBO and Max, and they called me and asked if I would be interested in, considering writing a show called The Penguin, starring Colin
Yeah.
Farrell, and based on Matt Reeves' film. I had not seen Matt's movie because it hadn't come out yet when I got the call, and so
Okay.
I quickly was able to meet Matt, who's just so incredible and really obviously very talented. And I met his producing partner, Dylan Clark, as well, and just had a lot of conversations about, what they were looking for, what was inspiring to them for the series, and really started to just ask myself deeper questions, wondering if I had a connection to it, if I could write a crime drama, because that inherently, to me, is what this show is. And then
Yeah.
just started to dig deeper and kind of went from there. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's a fascinating gangster story rather than any kind of superhero villain story. You can jump in and watch this series without even having seen the Batman, would you suggest?
Yeah, I think to me that was really important. Obviously, I expect so many incredible fans to have seen the Batman film religiously and watched it again and again. But I do want to appeal to people who haven't seen that film, and I don't think you need to see the movie to have a deep understanding of what our show is and to enjoy it, I hope. Tonally, we're a bit different. We have more comedy and sort of a different energy to our show because we're following a guy like Oz and he's a wily character
Yeah.
versus Batman, who's just, it's a moodier, slower sort of experience there and it's excellent. But so our show is just very different energetically. So I hope people will check it out who wouldn't think they would want to watch a show like this because to what you said, it's not a
Hmm.
superhero show. It is a crime
No.
drama.
Were you working with Colin or working with Oz?
I was working with both of them. Colin Farrell's an executive producer on the show. He's been really lovely to work with behind the scenes, and he and I
Yeah.
would constantly have conversations prior to shooting, throughout shooting, and then we worked together in editing a bit here and there too, which was really
Okay.
fun. And then also obviously on set, I was working predominantly with Colin as Oz. And that was also incredible. And it was wild because I do feel like Oz is sort of a different man, even though I know he's Colin. There's just it's a very unique situation to be in where you have your lead actor in a
Yeah.
prosthetic that is so incredible that it feels like it's a true different person walking into the room with you.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Did you work on multiple sets? Was there like multiple sets happening all at once that you had to sort of go from one set to another, or was it all streamlined?
Well, so we do block shooting on our show, which means we shot for the most part two episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Different directors for those different blocks. But we did shoot them, in succession. So there wasn't, sometimes there'd be multiple units, but for the most part, we were in one scene on, multiple scenes a day, but we knew what we were doing. And we shot predominantly in New York. We had sets in the Bronx, but then we shot all over the city. It was a really great experience.
Was there anything that you had to stop? Or did you have limitations of content when it came to what was happening in the show production and story?
I mean, I knew that we needed to be the bridge between the first film and the second film. That was always the intention. And so I knew
Yeah.
emotionally, always from the very beginning, for all of our characters, I defined those emotional arcs very early on. Because for me, I don't know how to write people unless I know where they come from and also where they're going in our show. So, Matt and I discussed that. And, within that, there was quite a lot of creative wiggle room, to get to play. I think at its heart, our show really is a character drama And in that regard, we were just investigating these characters and really trying to deeply get to know them in, I hope,
Yeah.
an interesting way. And so there wasn't so much like, can I have this character? Can I tell this other side story? It was more about the characters I knew I wanted in this show and how to like deepen your relationship with them.
And finally, as a writer, were you making suggestions on the run, or was it basically script to screen on the production?
Well, with television, it's always a collaboration. That's the best part. We had our scripts
Yeah,
written in advance, but then inherently, when you're shooting, you always shift and adjust and make changes. Sometimes budgetary changes,
yeah.
sometimes because you have a director who comes in who has an excellent idea, or you find a unique location and it merits changing the script in that way. Obviously, as you get to know your actors, you see like how incredible they could be and what they can do, and you start to shift and change things according to their own talents. So there's always a level of shifting and changing, but we always knew what the story was, and no scripts changed in a deep way last minute at all.
Do you have a cameo in any of the show, in any of the episodes? You in the background or anything?
No, actively, no. Uh, nope. I prefer to be behind the scenes.
Fair enough.
That's where I'm most comfortable. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I hope it does well. I know what I've seen, it's going to be create discussion, put it that way. I think it's that kind of series.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope so.
And you have an Australian connection, Yvonne Strahovski, of course, from
Yes.
Chuck.
She's my very good friend. She's the greatest. She's such
Have
a
you
good
been to
person. And
Australia? Have you come to visit?
no, I have so many Aussie friends. I need
Yeah.
to. I need to come visit. Like I have friends all over Australia, and they've been begging me for years to come. So it's time. I got to do it.
All right. Well, I hope we cross paths if that ever happens. Great to meet you, Lauren.
Great to meet you too. Thank you so much for your great questions.
Thank you.